What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Dynamite, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Jeff Hardy is back, NXT ratings tanked to a new all-time low, why is Brock vs Cody taking place at Backlash, Vickie Guerrero is suing her daughter, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. As always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, some eclectic matchups. And there are two constants in AEW. They have fantastic wrestlers, and they have too many of them on the roster. Thankfully, last night's Dynamite took the good, that being the fantastic wrestlers, and the bad, a bloated roster, making good out of both by booking some eclectic matchups. Orange Cassidy vs Buddy Matthews was a clash of styles that worked, as did Keith Lee vs Chris Jericho. While Lee vs Jericho wasn't quite a dream match, it was something special, even though its chief purpose was to continue Lee's feud with Swerve Strickland. Number 2, surprise, surprise, surprise. If you like surprises, what wrestling fan doesn't? Last night's Dynamite had plenty, keeping fans guessing as to what was next. Whether it was promos noting the arrival of returning stars such as Shawn Spears or returns from injuries, AEW paced things well to keep the show from seeming like mindless hot-shotting. Number 3, Brother Nero is back. Speaking of surprises, AEW provided a shocker with Jeff Hardy's surprise return. Brother Nero showed up in the nick of time, as it looked like Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, and Hook were about to be bludgeoned by the Firm. As expected, Jeff's return garnered a huge pop. Number 4, a generation meeting. A Sting vs MJF, a main event in any arena, but a match that's not going to happen because, as Sting put it, his career is winding down and he no longer has a hunger for the AEW World Championship. Sting pointed out that Darby Allin does, cutting a promo reminding Max why he's in Allin's corner, as he guided him just as Ric Flair did when he was that young. This was a good promo where a veteran put MJF in his place and helped Darby get over despite Allin's shortcomings on the stick. Number 5, Heavy Metal Mayhem. Backstage brawls never get old, and neither do bits where wrestlers employ heavy machinery to wreak havoc on wrestlers' belongings. In this case, Wardlow using a forklift to destroy Powerhouse Hobbs' gifted vehicle was a fun spot. The subsequent brawl between Wardlow and Hobbs was a terrific setup for their upcoming match, and this segment highlighted why the fans love Wardlow. He's a badass through and through. Number 6, some babyface payback. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks sent a message to the Blackpool Combat Club. What happens when you mess with family? Omega's pre-tape promo where he promised payback was a sweet swerve as Omega showed up on Dynamite. AEW played into the recent unfortunate incident where Adam Page made the mistake of confronting the BCC on his own and suffered a horrific beating. And not so last night, as the Bucks ambushed the BCC, allowing Omega the opening he wanted to give Moxley a taste of his own medicine. Like the beginning of any good feud, the fans only got a hint of the babyfaces getting payback, whetting their appetite for future matches. And Bullet Club Gold. If last night's promo from Jay White and Juice Robinson is any hint of things to come, AEW fans are in for a treat as the two men cut a fantastic promo, trash-talking Ricky Starks and promising fans to prepare for the greatest incarnation of the Bullet Club yet, Bullet Club Gold. But that was the good. What about the bad? As number 1, the Outcast time loop. Why is it that every segment with the Outcast seems like the same as the one the week before? The Outcast beat up Rio and Sky Blue, produced the spray paint, and fans wait for Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker to run in for the save. AEW is known for its cross-promotions with Warner Bros. Discovery's properties, so perhaps the Outcasts are a Groundhog Day crossover we haven't heard about. And number 2, Powerhouse title squash. Does AEW give anyone a title shot? Powerhouse Hobbs is a formidable wrestler, but was Silas Young the best the company could find? Did he win some sort of backstage lottery to get the shot? Title matches on TV can be very entertaining, but it devalues the championship when glorified enhancement talent wrestles for one of the promotion's top belts. That was nothing downright ugly. Dynamite had the usual array of entertaining matches and lots of exciting segments to keep the fans glued to their seats. With NBA playoffs and soon NHL playoffs coming, AEW needs to step things up. What do you guys think of Dynamite this week? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Now, first story looks at the real reason why Jeff Hardy returned to AEW. Atop of today's news is Jeff Hardy's righteous return. Jeff hasn't been on AEW television since his DUI arrest last summer, and Jeff's return was quite a surprise. Matt recently discussed how Jeff had undergone eye surgery and might be back in a few weeks, which was obviously a swerve, leading to fans discussing if and when Brother Nero might return to AEW. And now that Jeff is back, fans have many questions, chief among them why Jeff returned and whether it's a good idea. Why Jeff returned is a matter of informed speculation. If you listen to Matt Hardy's interviews, it appears that Matt feels an in-ring return is great for Jeff. As for Jeff's reason, there could be any number, including financial, the comfort he may find in structured environment of wrestling, a need to prove himself, or simply missing the fans. Examining Jeff's return through a business lens suggests AEW may feel Jeff's return is good for the promotion, especially as it prepares for its Wembley Stadium All-In event. And we feel the pressing question is whether Jeff returning to wrestling is a good idea, particularly for someone who still embraces a daredevil style. If Jeff decides to continue wrestling, fans will once again have to wait and see how things play out in and out of the ring before it's apparent whether Jeff chose wisely or chose poorly. Next up, NXT ratings tank. That was bad news for the Black and Gold brand, as NXT's ratings for this week were the lowest ever in the show's run on USA Network. Wrestling Observer Figure 4 Online's Paul Fontaine is reporting Tuesday night's episode of WWE NXT averaged 528,000 viewers on USA Network, down 4.9% from last week. It's the lowest audience total for NXT since February 15, 2022, when it was moved to Sci-Fi because of the Winter Olympics. NXT's faced some stiff competition that night from an NBA play-in tournament game. The rating shouldn't be taken as a sign the end is near, but let's hope it's a reminder that WWE needs to capitalize on the lulls during the off-season to build its audience, so when major competition returns, chiefly the NFL, it won't lose as many fans. Next up, why isn't Brock vs Cody booked for Saudi Arabia? And why is WWE booking Lesnar vs Rhodes at Backlash rather than a high-profile event like the upcoming King of the Ring PLA in Saudi Arabia? While some fans expected the match to take place there, the WWE reportedly has a good motive. Ringside News reported, it was further reported that Brock Lesnar vs Cody Rhodes match is taking place at Backlash as a promotional deal with Puerto Rico. The event will serve as a promotion for the area, and even more marquee matches are expected to be announced. Although Cody vs Brock at Backlash isn't official, it seems a given that it will happen. Puerto Rican officials paid a substantial sum for the WWE to hold Backlash there and undoubtedly want some marquee matches. Fightful Select recently reported on just how much the WWE was paid. According to sources familiar with the situation, WWE is being paid a handsome fee of $1.5 million to bring the Backlash PLE to San Juan, Puerto Rico in May. The fee is being paid out of the Puerto Rican Convention Center District Authority and the Puerto Rican Tourism Company. Furthermore, this furthers the WWE policy of making every PLE seem extra special and removing the stigma of A shows and B shows. Next up, Logan Paul looking for championship gold. Logan Paul recently signed a new WWE deal and he's determined to win championship gold during his current run. Paul chatted with ESPN about his new deal, why a long contract is a good thing, and his goals in the WWE. It's hard to do that when you don't have a long contract with a piece of talent, or you're talking about putting a guy over who may not be there next year. The idea with this multi-year contract was to really get creative around the story that we're telling as my professional wrestling career unfolds. Being the hyper-ambitious person that I am, I'm going for a belt. Paul had a well-received Undisputed Championship match against Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel with a fantastic performance that nearly saw him capture the belt. He seems confident he'll fare better down the road, telling ESPN, I wouldn't have signed this contract if I didn't think I was capable of getting a WWE belt. I think it'd be the coolest thing ever. I'd have to have it on my resume. I'd love to show every kid around the world who watches WWE that you can achieve anything. Do you think Paul has a future as a WWE champion? If so, which title should he win? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, Vickie Guerrero is suing her daughter. Vicky Benson, aka Vickie Guerrero, has revealed she plans on suing her daughter Sherilyn after Sherilyn accused Benson's current husband Chris of assaulting her while she was on a cruise. Here's an excerpt from a statement issued by Vickie via Instagram. Chris and Vickie Benson vehemently deny Cheryl Guerrero's recent allegations of sexual assault and abandonment. They ask you that you withhold final judgment on this matter until they have an opportunity to bring Ms. Guerrero and her claim into a court of law where judgment is based on facts and merit. What do you guys think of this? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.